Hello, this is Alexander at Counters Wales Woods. This is now my local spot to ride during the coronavirus. Today I'm just doing the same trail 3 times and going to do a test between the difference between Hypersmooth on chest cam, head cam, and then try the gimbal. And this is Hypersmooth on the Hero 8. I think it's still the same on the Hero 9, which is the new one, apart from the Hypersmooth 2 version, but that goes very narrow, so you don't see all the handlebars and it doesn't look as good, so not many people are using that. So yeah, we'll just go down. I'll show you all the videos back to back, and then we'll do maybe some side by side, and I'll talk over it at the end and tell you my thoughts. So here we go. First off, got the chest mount. Super weed fun trail, this one. Get nice and chilled. Not gonna do this jump, it's quite a big one. I'm just staying safe during this time, obviously. It's one where you just have to pull up quite a bit and you have to turn very quickly after. So this is a nice trail that keeps it nice and interesting. Yeah, just watch it when you come onto that road. One of the reasons I'm doing the trail is because it's got a nice cycle section of pedalling on the road, so it'll be interesting to see how it looks. Hello cyclists, look at the road variety. Bit of crowd coming up behind. Pull off there. So this cam will probably be facing quite high up, I reckon. We'll see. I'm quite low down, I would usually cycle higher, but here we go. Oh, not the best line in there. Wide corner. A nice little log drop there. Roll down. Wide turn to this, and the inside nice wide again, little drop again. You have to go nice and wide in this rough line, but if you don't go wide, you can't get the corner. And that is the end of this trail. So that was the chest cam. We'll move on to now the gimbal. Here we go. This is now the gimbal. The GoPro Karma grip is the gimbal we're using. And it's on the GoPro chest mount, the second version. You basically can't use the gimbal with the first version of the chest mount, it's just too floppy. You can definitely feel that you're wearing a gimbal when you wear it. It bounces around a bit. I'm not sure if I've done the gimbal at the right angle. Here we go, on to the next section. Oh, that was horrendous lighting. Been trying to do the much the same lines, the same amount of jumps over the drops and stuff. Because you can do a bit playing around where you jump some stuff, roll some stuff on the trail. Be interesting to see how the gimbal handles these really tight turns and drops. Oh, chunky. And that is the end of the gimbal test. We'll move on to the head cam now. So now it's time for the head cam. This is probably what I use for most of my videos. Here we go. I have the Bell Super helmet. Can't remember which version. I think it might be the second one. But it's got an integrated GoPro mount, and it's actually one of the reasons I bought this helmet, because of it. Because I've been filming GoPro videos for a long time. Ow. And roll. The only one problem you do get is the visor rattles around a bit, and you can usually hear it in the videos. It used to be really bad. See that? You can hear it creaking a bit. It used to be really bad, and then I've got these windshields now. It's not as bad, but you can still hear it. And it's not that it's loose and rattling up and down, it rattles side to side and it hits off the helmet sideways. So there would be a way to fix it if you get some little rubber bits and stick them under, and I've been planning to do that for a while but just haven't got around to it. But we'll see how it is. Super comfortable helmet though, that's for sure. I think one of the reasons I've been using this setup so much compared to anything on the chest is it's such a put up there and forget. You never have to worry about it, you can hardly feel it. And that is the end. Nice one. Okay, so I'm back in my flat and I'm looking over the footage. Looking at the GoPro gimbal versus the chest mount, they're very similar. They're just different. I wouldn't say one's much better than the other. Looking at my test footage, it noticed that the gimbal is actually shaking up and down in the vertical a bit, and that hasn't happened before. It must have been because my chest mount or gimbal was loose. So what I usually do is tilt the handle quite far angled towards my chest, and it uses my chest against kind of my ribs with the harness as like a triangle, and that keeps it really still. But obviously it wasn't doing that, so I guess that's probably the biggest downside to having the gimbal, is it's very finicky. You have to set it up perfectly, you have to make sure it's working. If you hit big drops or big jumps, it can twitch a bit and kind of not be fast enough. So it's definitely different to having it from the chest, where the chest it's not going to do that. You're just going to see the impact. I prefer, I think, the chest. I think one of the reasons I think that is because lots of people on YouTube have been using the full face chin mount, and it looks very similar to that. And it's just a preference thing, I think. I don't think there's particular say one is better than the other. I think it's just preference, and that's currently the style, is using that slightly more shaky, but you kind of get more of the action rather than just like a cinematic shot. The head cam though is really good. Like, that's probably the one that's most accurate to what you see and how you feel the trail. It's kind of looking down on it. It shows a bit more the steepness. The chest cams don't show how steep the trails are. They flatten out definitely. And also, it's just so easy, the head cam. You just put it up there, you don't think about it, and it's just gone. And you're not going to hit your handlebars against your GoPro. When you sit down, it's still the same thing. If you want to look somewhere, you look at it. I would say I prefer probably the footage from the chest cams, either or. And for a spectator's view, it's probably a lot better. But for an ease, it's definitely, for filming, it's definitely the head. But I think in the future, I'm going to film a lot more with the chest cam without the gimbal. And I think it comes down to the fact that the Hypersmooth is so good now.